The Florida teen who claimed 4 Hispanic people kidnapped him in a white van and shot him has now been arrested. These new details make the situation even crazier than it was. Police looked through his chat history with ChatGPT, where he asked about Mexican cartels. He also asked how to collect his own blood without causing pain. We also found out that when he shot himself, he shattered his femur, all to keep the ruse up that he was actually kidnapped. If you don't know the story, on September 25th, Caden texted his mother saying that 4 Hispanic people kidnapped him in a white van and shot him. The police start looking for him. They end up finding his truck, which had a bullet hole in. The police have now said they also found a mixture of blood inside the truck. They didn't explicitly say if this was stuff that he collected, like he talked to ChatGPT with, if he made fake blood, we don't know. Earlier that day, he had bought a bike and a tent, which he, I guess, went away with to hide. Allegedly, this is what police are saying. And then at the end of all this, right before he is discovered, he shoots himself in the femur, shattering it. While he was missing, people made calls to police about Hispanic people who possibly could have been involved. One delivery driver saw 4 Hispanic people working at a job site, and he said they gave him a weird look and seemed kind of mean, so he called 911 about them. He could have easily destroyed someone's life who was doing nothing wrong, just living their life and working hard. He's got several charges: presenting false evidence, shooting the car, making a false report, and then possession of a firearm as a minor. I'll keep you guys updated on what's going to happen to him. If the parents are also going to be charged, we don't know. After he was found, his mother made a post almost alluding to the fact that everything that Caden had said was true. In my opinion, that's how I read it. And she also mentioned that Caden was in surgery, which was confusing because police said that he was found in good condition. But now we understand everything that has allegedly happened.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a story that makes you shake your head and say, what was he thinking? Now, buckle up, because today's story out of Florida is one that perfectly fits the phrase, play stupid game, win stupid prizes. Now, a 17-year-old Florida boy recently faked his own kidnapping, shot himself, and then went on to accuse 4 innocent Hispanic men of the crime. Yeah, you heard that right. He actually shot himself just to make the hoax look real. But instead of getting sympathy, attention, or whatever he was chasing, he got handcuffed and arrested. And now he's facing he's facing real legal troubles, for a crime that never even happened.
Police confirmed that he was not kidnapped by 4 Hispanic people in a white van, and that while he was shot, that he shot himself in the leg before walking out into the roadway to be discovered. If you don't know this story, this is 17-year-old Caden Spate from Marion County, Florida. A few days ago, he texted his mother around 4 o'clock claiming that 4 Hispanic people, one driver, had taken him in a white van and that he had been shot. His truck was found, which had a bullet hole in it, and his phone was found smashed into pieces on the side of the road. So immediately, police issue an Amber Alert. The family is frantically searching for him. Multiple Hispanic people were profiled and looked at as possible suspects. And then the police said that multiple red flags came up. They searched deeper into the story and that they saw Caden at a Walmart prior to any of this, purchasing a bike, a tent, supplies to be camping. So while the whole community was terrified for him, they find out that things don't seem right here. What happened to Caden? Well, fast forward, the police come out with a simple statement that Caden was found alive and in good health. His mother made this post saying they found him, praise the Lord, and that he is in surgery, which made many people question, we thought he was in good health.
White lies continue to end black and brown lives, and for that reason, 17-year-old Caden Spate of Florida, who was kidnapped by 4 Hispanic men in a white van and shot, needs to be in jail. Poor Caden was wearing his Maga hat when those Hispanic men in that white van picked him up. He made sure to mention that they were Hispanic when he texted his mother. In the midst of him being kidnapped, he somehow ended up at Walmart, where he bought a bike and camping equipment. Poor Caden. His cell phone was found snapped in half, and his vehicle had a bullet hole in it. After being shot, Caden Spate managed to crawl onto the highway where he was discovered. It was all a lie, and the gunshot wound to Caden Spate's leg was self-inflicted. that liar Caden Spate needs to be locked up because he's made it that much harder for the next real victim.
Did you see the updates of the 17-year-old white kid who shot himself and tried to blame 4 Hispanics for it, including the fact that he might have used ChatGPT to plan his fake abduction? This is Caden Spate of Citrus Springs, Florida. And on September 25th, he sent a bunch of texts to his family saying that he had been shot and abducted by 4 Hispanic men in a light-colored van. There was an Amber Alert put out for this kid, and multiple agencies were dispatched to try and find this kid, including the FBI, the Sheriff's Office, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation. They even used helicopters to try and find him. During their search, authorities found a Chevy pickup truck with a bullet hole in it, the suspect's blood, and Caden's severely damaged cell phone. Thankfully, he was found the next day, and I'm not saying for his sake, I'm saying for the Latino community's sake. He was found in a parking lot with a gunshot wound to his leg, a broken femur, and his dad's firearm, which later police will find out was the same gun he used to shoot himself. And by the way, he didn't confess right away. He kept lying when he was first picked up by the police, saying that they, meaning the Hispanics, dumped me, shot me, and left me, and that they used him last night and wanted him to fight. Again, this kid was still saying that Hispanics did this to him. Thankfully, the cops didn't just believe this white kid. First of all, because the gun he was shot with was his father's gun. Then when they investigated further, they found out that he used ChatGPT to look up how to take blood out of myself for medical purposes without it hurting, which might explain the Gatorade bottle full of blood they found near the truck, which cops believe Caden put his own blood in the bottle and sprayed the bottle near the abandoned vehicle. He also asked ChatGPT about Mexican cartels. It took a long time for charges to come against Caden, and Caden's parents were preventing police from questioning him. But thankfully, Caden has been charged with presenting false evidence, shooting into conveyance, making a false report of a crime, and possessing a firearm as a minor. I am genuinely scared for white kids, or of white kids. Either way, the internet is turning these kids more violent or giving them access to just act out on their worst instincts. Either way, nothing is being done and the entire system is protecting them. White society will laugh this off as, oh, boys being boys, or that was just Caden. But no, this is a problem. He executed a very elaborate plan. I don't know why or what his goal was, but I just know that if this had gone on longer and people really thought that he was taken by Hispanic men, you know the damage that would have done to the Latino community. This is a rampant problem, and it is not being addressed by this government or by this society. Something has to be done.
Hey, do you guys remember the teenager from here in Florida, Marion County specifically, who was arrested and charged for faking his own kidnapping? I mean, there was a statewide Amber Alert. It was a big deal. Well, it turns out he made up the whole story, including shooting himself in the leg to continue with this narrative that he had been kidnapped by what he described as a group of Hispanic men, which it was all a hoax. It was all a lie. Anyway, today he pled no contest to the charges. We are digging into what all of this means. We're told that he will be sentenced at a later date, but his case is being tried as a juvenile. So more to come on this. But you can always download our WFTV app or go to WFTV.com as we update the story throughout the day.
The Florida teen who claimed 4 Hispanic people kidnapped him in a white van and shot him has now been arrested. These new details make the situation even crazier than it was. Police looked through his chat history with ChatGPT, where he asked about Mexican cartels. He also asked how to collect his own blood without causing pain. We also found out that when he shot himself, he shattered his femur, all to keep the ruse up that he was actually kidnapped. If you don't know the story, on September 25th, Caden texted his mother saying that 4 Hispanic people kidnapped him in a white van and shot him. The police start looking for him. They end up finding his truck, which had a bullet hole in. The police have now said they also found a mixture of blood inside the truck. They didn't explicitly say if this was stuff that he collected, like he talked to ChatGPT with, if he made fake blood, we don't know. Earlier that day, he had bought a bike and a tent, which he, I guess, went away with to hide. Allegedly, this is what police are saying. And then at the end of all this, right before he is discovered, he shoots himself in the femur, shattering it. While he was missing, people made calls to police about Hispanic people who possibly could have been involved. One delivery driver saw 4 Hispanic people working at a job site fight. And he said they gave him a weird look and seemed kind of mean. So he called 911 about them. He could have easily destroyed someone's life who was doing nothing wrong, just living their life and working hard. He's got several charges: presenting false evidence, shooting the car, making a false report, and then possession of a firearm as a minor. I'll keep you guys updated on what's going to happen to him. If the parents are also going to be charged, we don't know. After he was found, his mother made a post almost alluding to the fact that everything that Caden had said was true. In my opinion, that's how I read it. And she also mentioned that Caden was in surgery, which was confusing because police said that he was found in good condition. But now we understand everything that has allegedly happened.
Did y'all hear about the story of the teenager who said he was abducted and shot by Hispanic men just for police to say he later made up the entire thing and that he was lying? Yeah, so here's what happened. A 17-year-old boy triggered a massive statewide search after claiming he was abducted and shot. I guess he actually made the entire thing up. And then he shot himself in the leg to keep the lie going. But all of this is according to the Marion County Sheriff. Now, this incident began on September 25th when Caden Spate was reported missing. He told authorities he had been shot and kidnapped by 4 Hispanic men in a van. Now, this serious claim prompted an Amber Alert and led multiple law enforcement agencies on an urgent search for him. However, investigators say they quickly found issues with his story. They discovered he had just bought a bicycle, tent, and camping supplies at a Walmart. Witnesses came forward with information that contradicted his story. And instead of being abducted, they learned that he had simply ridden his bike toward another town. Then, in a desperate move to make his story seem real, the sheriff claims that the kid then shot himself in the leg and caused a non-life-threatening injury. He was later found by concerned citizens near a roadway. Now, this investigation is still ongoing and detectives are processing evidence, but the sheriff said the parents have so far refused to let investigators speak with the boy. What an interesting turn of events. I wonder who's telling the truth in this entire fiasco.
And as for what he purchased at the Walmart, investigators, they got their hands on a receipt from around 3:07 p.m. So this is 1 hour before Caden would send that fateful text. Quote, from the receipt, the suspect appears to purchase a Huffy 29 Rock Creek mountain bike, a green sleeping bag, a red, gray, and color Ozark Trail one-person hiker tent, an Ozark Trail hiking backpack, and a pillow. The suspect used approximately $400 in cash to purchase all of the items, with a total cost of $343.98 with sales tax. Now, Dave, let's actually start from the end before we go to the beginning. Paying in cash, that seemed deliberate.
Sure does. And look at the high-tech device that the cops use to discover all this. It's called a receipt. A receipt, a paper receipt. Yes. Yeah. He never thought they would get a paper receipt that showed what he purchased that day. Yeah, and he paid in cash. Wow, so slick. It's just 17-year-old just maybe crying out for help in some way, and hopefully he'll get mental health treatment he needs, but he still should be accountable, and I think his parents should, for the costs involved, for the pain that they cause the community. But yeah, it shows you he paid in cash. That's deliberate. That shows he tried to cover things up.
And you see what he purchased there. But I think the other part about it, as I'm going through this, and from your experience as a former prosecutor, it becomes, I think, increasingly more difficult to commit a crime or cover up a crime or try to stage a crime in today's day and age than it was years ago. I mean, look at the digital footprint. Look at the Life 360 app. Look at cell phone footage. Look at surveillance footage. Look, eyewitnesses. Maybe it's because it's it's not in just a remote location. But that kind of struck me about it's very hard to not leave a trail.
I don't think a lot of criminals really realize and think that we have so much technology today that the thing in your pocket is a tracker, your cell phone. Google, we have this ability to pinpoint people. If you're in the checkout line at your Walmart, we have geolocators that are able to locate you at that area. I mean, there's cameras everywhere now, and everyone is a photographer with their own cell phone cameras, and so it's just much harder to commit crimes. I think of Brian Kohberger, not to change the subject, but Brian Kohberger was a devotee of serial killers, thought he would be the next Ted Bundy, apparently, until he realized, oh, there's DNA. That's something they didn't have before. Yep. So that's why, thankfully for dumb criminals who are not aware of technology, it makes it so much easier for prosecutors to do their jobs.
Oh, yeah, that guy? Okay, so cell phone data, surveillance, eyewitness, DNA. Yeah, he is... so what was the elevator doesn't go to the top? Yeah, he was not the sharpest either. I'm
not the sharpest knife in the drawer, not the tool shed. There you go.
He was...
This Florida Maga supporter faked his own kidnapping. Now he's probably going to find out the hard way. 17-year-old Caden Spite told his mom he'd been shot by 4 Hispanic men and thrown into a van. And knowing Florida, police went all in. Helicopters, Amber Alert, federal agencies, a full-scale search. But Sheriff Billy Woods later confirmed it was an elaborate hoax. And here I thought Maga supporters hated wasteful spending. Caden had actually bought camping gear, rode off on a bike, and popped himself in the leg to make the story look real. There is zero chance, the sheriff said, that Caden's wound came from any type of assailant. And the part that's hard to ignore, this Maga supporting kid made up a violent crime and blamed it on 4 imaginary Hispanic men. Maga sure do love to paint themselves as the victims, even when it's self-inflicted. Woods admitted, my team was working in overdrive to solve this case. And now, people obviously want to know if there will be any charges. Woods' response? That's not off the table.
So here's what reportedly went down. According to investigators, the teen claimed that 4 Hispanic men in a black truck kidnapped him, shot him, and left him for dead. Naturally, this sparked a massive police response. Local law enforcement scrambled, the community panicked, and people were on high alert, thinking there were dangerous kidnappers on the loose. But as police started digging into the details, the story didn't quite add up. The surveillance footage didn't match his claims, the timeline was sketchy, and then the big discovery, the gunshot wound. Yeah, it was self-inflicted. When officers pressed him, the truth came tumbling out. The entire thing, the kidnapping, the suspects, even the shooting, was all a complete fabrication. Now, here's where things get interesting. You've got to ask, why would a 17-year-old go this far, right? What could possibly push a teenager to stage his own kidnapping and injury, knowing how serious those charges are? Some say it might have been a desperate cry for attention. Maybe he wanted sympathy from someone, maybe a girlfriend, maybe his parents, or maybe he just wanted to go viral. Others think it could have been an attempt to avoid getting in trouble for something else, like sneaking out, bad grades, or involvement in shady activities. But let's not skip over another important point. He didn't just fake a kidnapping. He falsely accused a group of Hispanic men, knowing full well the racial stereotypes and tensions that accusation could ignite. Right? He knew very well that accusation could ignite something very big. Right? Imagine how dangerous that could have been if police had tracked down innocent people matching that description. This wasn't just a dumb prank. It was potential life ruining for whoever fits his, false description. Online reactions have been divided. Some people say he's just a kid who made a stupid mistake and should be given leniency. Others argue, this isn't just teenager foolishness. This is criminal because, let's be real, if the police hadn't caught up or caught the lie early, innocent men could have been shot, arrested, or even killed. And now the teen has been charged, facing the harsh reality that hoaxes like this carry serious consequences. Police are labeling it a false reporting, obstruction of justice, and possible hate crime enhancement if prosecutors decide the racial profiling was part of his motive. Okay? So, what was the end game here? Attention, sympathy, clouds? We might never know, right? But what's clear is that this kind of behavior reflects something deeper. The pressure on young people to get noticed, to make headlines, to do something big, even if it means crossing into dangerous territory. It's another reminder that social validation can be a dangerous drug, especially when mixed with poor judgment and assessment or access to firearms. Now, in the end, this Florida teen learned the hard way that lies can spiral faster than you can control, and that accusing innocent people can wreck more than just your own life. So, what do you think, guys? Should this teen be treated like an adult for making such a serious false report, or should the justice system take into account his age and give him a second chance? And do you think social media is making kids more likely to chase drama at any cost? Let's talk about it in the comment section below. And as always, stay smart, stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next one. And until then, credit belongs to original creators. I appreciate all of you, all my subscribers. Thank you very much for subscribing to this channel. And please, if you watch this video, do well to subscribe to enable us, push to larger audience. Thank you guys. I'll see you on the next video.